Hey, how you guys doing today? This is another episode of CP3Tv. I'm your host, and today we're here again talking to the CEO founder of Maximum Security Inc., Mr. Pharms. Mr. Pharms, hey.
How you doing this evening?
We're developing the fan base, and we got a seminar coming up. We got things going along in the business, and we're just rounding up the fan base. And after looking at your Facebook, after looking at your Twitter, you got a rowdy bunch of fans and friends and family with this whole you concept. The problem is when we're discussing things and when we're talking is that what we were saying in the previous podcast is that you voice your opinion off air. What we're trying to do is get that opinion on air. So I'm trying to remember and soak up everything you were saying earlier, because you were feeling some type of way about the game tonight, Monday Night Football. Who's actually playing tonight?
Actually, it's Kansas City Chiefs and the Denver Broncos, which is a big rivalry in the AFC. And with Kansas City, it's in Kansas City, so it's sort of like what they call an ambush at Arrowhead, and then you have
ambush at Arrowhead.
Yes, I mean then you have the Raiders that are doing well. So usually the rivals in that area are usually either Denver or the Raiders that the Kansas City Chiefs fans get ready for.
Okay, I understand. Now, you were saying something earlier about the stadium itself.
I mean, it's been rated as one of the best places in the NFL. The tailgate and the fans are very. They're really up for their fans. I mean, on that premises, you have Kansas City Royal Stadium and also the Arrowhead Stadium on the same complex. So
now, what personal experience have you had with this stadium?
Well, I mean, I left the Dolphins, and then I got an offer, and I went and signed with Kansas City. So we went through the off-season program. So we were there 12 weeks. From as soon as they sign you, they take everything. Matter of fact, they asked me about
the shoulder. They take everything?
No, they asked me about a shoulder injury I had way back in middle school, and I was like, whoa, you guys had that on file? I was like, yeah, I bruised my shoulder. So
yeah.
I mean, they make sure everything is very.
You were
together.
Knocking guys out in middle school.
Well, it was just a situation to where, a linebacker caught me on a certain play, and he kind of bruised my shoulder, but that's okay. It made me better in basketball because my right shoulder was bruised, so I had to shoot with my left, so it made me sort of ambidextrous in a little bit.
Wow.
So, I mean, no, they're really serious. I mean,
wow.
Kansas City, actually, they liked what I brought to the table, and they initially wanted me to go up to Toronto and play a year and then come back. So
you bruised your shoulder and you learned how to shoot basketball with your left hand.
I can't use my right, so when everybody else was practicing, I was just by myself at the other end of the gym, and I just shoot with my left.
Nice. That's very, very impressive. Now, do you think that athletes should train the weaker side of their hand-eye coordination skills? Like if they're right-hand dominant, they should be just as strong in their left hands?
I think so. I mean, it makes you more agile. I mean, you can go either way. I mean, that way, I mean, if it's a cornerback, it doesn't matter if you line them up on the right side of the field or the left side of the field. And that goes the same for safety, free or strong. So it gives you a defensive lineman. I mean, if he can play right end, he'll be able to play left end. So it helps out when you got a man that can go on both sides of the field. That way you can try to have somebody to take out their best man, or just as far as getting the whole defense and offense together, you can look at another team's weaknesses and use whatever strengths you have on your team to try to just move forward in a positive way.
Nice. Another question. You were speaking about earlier about a guy that passed away that you knew with this stadium where the Monday night football's happening.
No, I mean during that time, I mean I had befriended and I was good friends with Derek Thomas, which is
Derek Thomas.
he's legendary. I mean he's out of South Miami,
Okay.
so I mean he's from Florida, but I mean he did a lot as far as giving back to the community and everything. And me and
Derek Thomas.
Yes, yes, yes. And even I was in Florida when I heard of the news that he had passed away.
How did he
Well,
pass
he didn't.
away?
He didn't pass away, but he had a wreck
Oh,
in the SUV, and I had been around that same SUV. So when I totally went into a state of just like numbness and shock, and just hoping that everything was going to be all right.
was it a drunk driving incident?
No, it was just an incident to where I mean it was ice and snow on the ground, and I mean it was nothing dealing with alcohol that I know of. It was just an incident that happened when he was traveling, and I mean, and unfortunately, he got into an accident, and then everybody pretty much waiting, hoping, and praying that he would be all right.
Wow. Well, I'm sorry to hear of this. Deeply. Rest in peace, Mr. Thomas.
Yes, most definitely.
What teams did he play for?
Basically, he stayed with the Kansas City Chiefs the whole time.
Okay.
I mean, he was one of the men of Kansas City. I mean, his whole style of playing defense. I mean, he was a total athlete. Period.
Okay. Yeah, I just hate to jump topics and like it means nothing, and I mean that is pretty serious. Driving on ice and inclement conditions, and you got to be careful driving. Okay. So yeah, Mr. Pharms. Another question is that, uh, you know, how do you feel about the state of football today? I mean, like, with the whole inmates running prisons, with the Houston Texans owner, and how do you feel about these different conditions that are going, amongst the NFL ranks?
I mean, the way it is right now, and I mean that statement at this time or different statements. It. I mean, it can cause a bit of not necessarily a true problem, but it's still. Are you really medicating the wound, or are you adding other little things to just help infect the wound? I mean, my thing is as long as if everybody can be united in professional football, within the players union, and within the ownership, I mean, football be the great sport that we all love.
Okay. So, all right. Now, the next series of questions I'm gonna ask you to erase all boundaries. Okay. We're not thinking about the past. We're not thinking about the future. We're thinking about the present time.
Mhm.
Okay. So, with the present time, what I mean is that you have a seminar coming up, and I'm sure there will be more seminars. According to your business manager. The seminars are. Could you tell us a little bit about your seminars that you'll be holding, please?
Well, basically, it's just I mean, it's getting together with parents. I mean, coming out and also kids, but it's one thing about it. You can't live vicariously through your children. So I mean,
Okay.
don't overwork them. I mean, because they have to rest and
Okay.
whatnot.
Okay. I understand what you're saying.
Hmm.
Now, what I'm asking about why are you holding a seminar?
Because it's very important. It's not only that talking to parents about as far as their kids, but it's also kids as far as being able to train in the right way so they don't overwork their body. And at the end of the day, so a kid won't end up hating the sport, whether it be a male or a female athlete. I mean, if you push
Okay.
them too hard and too long, they'll despise it. And it's supposed to be a game that they love or a sport